Hey everybody, Tim Shaw here. Welcome back to the Black Cat Lounge. Thank you so much for being here. I got a great show for you. My guest, I'm a fanboy. Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Oh my God. Oh my God. I almost had to wear the pens. I was so excited. Anyway, it's going to be a great show tonight. But real quickly, I just want to thank everybody that reached out to me after you guys heard that I during an investigation on last Sunday night at a place called the Western Block, which is an amazing place in Lockport, New York. All of a sudden, yours truly got pushed to the floor. I haven't had one of them in many years, but I got pushed to the floor and, I got a boo-boo on my knee. That's what I got. I got a brush burn on my knee. That's what I got. And of course I didn't sprain my wrist, but it's just a little sore from when you have this guy fall on top of your own wrist. That's another thing. But anyway, thanks a lot. I'm up and I'm running. Back at the gym, everything is good. But I will say that it was an amazing time. It was an amazing thing that happened. I don't know. It was the most gentlest push that I've ever gotten. And I mean, a lot of the places I've been pushed. I've been poked, prodded, knocked, pushed up the stairs. I've been scratched. But this one was different because it was just like it wanted to get out, like maybe I was in its way and it was trying to get by me or whatever. But it was enough, and it was like I could feel the individual fingers on my bicep as it pushed in, and I went down. I went down. It was like massive velocity just pushed me down. So it was really, really great. So I appreciate everybody that wrote in, and then they all said, You're crazy, Shaw. You're crazy. But other than that, we're having a great time. Tomorrow night, I'll be up at Dragonfly Art and Soul. I'll be talking about Victorian mourning rituals, and I'll have some of my collection there. Some hair jewelry, some coffin parts. I don't know. I'll think of something else to bring. But anyway, I'm not going to go and I'm going to hold this guy back. This guy's a lion. This guy's amazing. This guy is like, I am so thrilled to have him on the show. You know what? He's an actor. He's a stand-up comedian. He's a writer. He's a producer. He's an inventor. He's a painter. He's a renowned, I'm going to go renowned podcast. He is effervescent. He is iridescent. He is an amazing person. I got a chance to work with him at the Michigan Paracon a couple of years ago when we did a Ouija board session inside the world's largest Ouija board planchette. It was great. He was the moderator. He's fantastic. You've seen him here. These are some of his movie credentials. Spectres, seen it. Lady Killers, seen it. Faces of Terror, seen it. X Files, the movie, seen it. TV, he's been on Bones. He's been on The Commish. He's been on Sliders. He's been on Roswell. He has been on Home Improvement, Lonesome Dove, The Outlaw Years.
Oh my God.
Oh my. He's hosted Ghost Adventures Live on the Travel Channel. You guys seen me on Ghost. You know what? It's amazing. We're never really in the same place. I'm sometimes on Travel Channel. He's sometimes on Travel Channel. We never seem to be on the same place. Could it be that the two of us are the same person? I don't think so. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But you'll know him as the man, the myth, the legend. You know him as Ringo. You know him as one of the lone gunmen from X Files. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Today on our show, we have someone I am just so excited about having on. Wait a minute, I forgot something else. He is also along with the podcaster, he is with the Chill Pack Hollywood Hour. They talk everything Hollywood. And of course, he produced a local show called This Old Haunted House. And he is the moderator of something that I got a chance to work with him on as a fill-in, Alone and Scared. And we're going to talk about that too tonight. If I can keep my earbuds in, because my ears are they're sweating. Listen, I get a guest on like him. I'm sweating. I'm already sweating. I'm verklempt. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Black Cat Lounge, Dean Haglund.
Thank you, Tim. I
How are
wish I
you?
recorded that intro. That was so charming. I really enjoyed that.
And it was free. I didn't even listen. It was free. I didn't even have to go. You know, you didn't send me a 20. This
I
one.
know. I think you just read that off the IMDb or something. That was fantastic.
Listen, I do my homework.
I hear you.
I do my homework once in a while. Dean, man, thank you for being on here. I was so thrilled when you said yes to come on the show. You're someone who, I mean, you know what? I'm like, I know a lot of indie guys. I know, you know, I've done indie films myself.
Right.
I'm not an actor at all. Not at
I
all.
play one on TV.
Yeah, once in a while I am. Yeah. But you know what? I was so impressed because of the fact I love the fact that we were talking off air that you are a working actor. You are someone who's always out there, who's always working. It's like a dream. You know,
and that's really a goal. You know, some people want to be, you know, they go into it for fame or want to be a movie star.
Right.
But there's the actual craft of it is also a very fulfilling thing. So being a working actor, regardless of the part or the size of the production or whatever, has a very fulfilling career arc to it. So
I got a chance to interview Sarah Karloff, Boris Karloff's daughter.
Oh yeah. Oh wow, that's fun.
I love her. She's up there in age now, but she was just so wonderful to interview. And I asked her, I said, what was one of the things, what was so important to your dad? You know, he was so larger than life. You know, we make him larger than life.
Well, yeah.
And she goes, number one, he was one of the earliest members of SAG.
Yes.
One of the very
Founding
first people.
member.
Oh yeah. He was like thrilled with that. He loved doing thrillers, and his favorite movie or his favorite thing he did was a voiceover for The Grinch. You know, love that. He loved that. But you know what the most important thing to him was? You ready for this? He was a working actor.
Yeah.
He always was working, whether it was on the stage, whether it was on movies, he was always working. And
my favorite Boris Karloff story is that he turned down some horror movie so that he could do Arsenic and the Old Lace.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he went to Australia, like it was a Southern tour and stuff like that. Because the two old ladies that are in it, Arsenic and the Old Lace is about two old ladies who have a border or something and suspect him of murder. But
dig another lock in the canal, Teddy.
Yes, exactly.
See, I'm showing my age. I know these things.
And he thought it was important that the two women keep working. So he actually said, I'm not doing these Hollywood movies. I'm going to tour a stage production so that these two women that he loved working with would get work for the next 6 months, 8 months. I don't know how long the tour was, but like that's a testament to a working actor that you are. It is. You know, you don't give a crap about your fame or your movie ascension or whatever that sort of thing is.
Let me ask you this. I mean, you are the ultimate. You are the ultimate character actor. You really are. Because I mean, I've seen you in some kind of heavy, some more heavier roles, and I've seen you in, of course, X Files. I mean, it's like you were phenomenal. You were a standout. You were always a standout.
Yeah,
but
thank you.
And if I had hair like that, I would have been wearing it. But I didn't have hair
too. I know, that's embarrassing.
But what was it in you that you decided that you wanted to become an actor? You wanted to be either in front of the camera, you wanted to be on the stage. What was it that really got your juices flowing in order to go and be a part of this?
It's funny you should ask that, because I grew up in Canada, Midwest. I'm a small town in Manitoba on the bald prairies of Canada. And believe it or not, it was we had this very progressive principal who insisted that there was talent shows at every assembly. And so I did so many of those, and I was getting laughs And I think that was my heroine right there, was just the feedback of huge amounts of laughter. And so originally I was going to be, I was just going to do stand up, and that's a long road too, for sure, but it's great. And I love doing stand up, but because I had theater training and all that sort of thing, I was getting lots of roles, particularly in Vancouver at the time, when you had 21 Jump Street and The Commish and so many great shows filming up there. Street Justice with the dearly departed, how am I blanking on his name? The Creed, Rocky's opponent.
Apollo Creed. What is his name? Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers, thank you. Yeah. So he was the lead of a series called Street Justice, and I got to work with him. And so, you had this aspect of like, oh my gosh, as a working actor in Vancouver and all these TV series that were up there at the time, it was just a fantastic experience. And then in the evening, I was performing improv comedy at the Vancouver Theatre Sports League. And who was on stage with me but Ryan Stiles, Colin Mockery, Gary Jones, like these guys from Who's Line and Stargate and all that sort of thing. And
that's amazing.
We did a partially scripted, partially improvised show called Star Trek the Musical, and it was a Star Trek parody. I played Spock, and I think I did 430 shows in a row.
Dear God.
Yeah, for 4.5 years. It was like,
Dear God.
It was like the Beatles Hamburg experience. It was just,
dear God.
You built chops, and you could just now, like I did in Michigan. I don't know if you saw my show there, but I improvised.
I did.
Yeah. I did the Ghost Paranormal improv, and brought up Dave, who was really nervous, by the way, to do his scene. And then I would pick random people from the audience and stuff like that. So it's every convention I do, I basically add on a live show just so I can't help but entertain the people.
Amber writes, can we bring Star Trek the musical back? Hey, listen, if the money's right, I'm sure we can convince Dean to be part of it. I don't
know. No. I had to do a dance number where my final thing, as I'm singing Spock, I cartwheeled and then landed in the splits, because I was also, my theater training included some modern dance. So I was very flexible back then. There's no way now I would ever do a cartwheel into the splits as a big ender on a musical number.
Please. I don't even want to think about it. I am like,
I don't want to think about it.
Listen, I get on the elliptical. I am like an albatross on the elliptical machine at the gym. People go and videotape me on there because of the fact of the between the facial expressions and the way I am so uncoordinated doing anything. It just doesn't work. The body doesn't work anymore.
I get it. I totally get it.
I got to ask you now, what is it that attracts you to a role? Because I know that you don't take just anything that comes through.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and I got spoiled, right? I mean, the X Files, so well written. Chris Carter, Frank Spotnitz, Vince Gilligan, who went on to do Breaking Bad,
right?
Saul. I mean, this team of writers were so incredible that when the script came, you were like, you would read the whole thing. You didn't care how many lines you got or whatever. You would go, wow, how does this end? This is fantastic. And, there were scripts that they sent me that I put down, because I got every script in that episode of Home with the Peacock brothers and the mother on a skateboard under the bed. I don't know.
Oh my God, that was a pisser. Yeah. Oh my God.
You know what? That episode toned down how visceral that script was, because I read that by myself and I was like, it was the most terrifying read I've ever had. And Glenn Morgan and James Wong, who created the Lone Gunmen, had written this episode as to be unfilmable. because they were so angry that they got kicked off Millennial, the other show that Chris Carter was producing, right?
Oh, really? I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Yeah. So after 3 seasons, they were writing this thing, and then it suddenly got pulled for no reason. So then they go, you just write, all the executives, just go back to writing the X Files. And they went, oh, you effort. We're going to write something so toxic that it's unfilmable. And then everybody heard, oh, hey, great. Glenn and James, they're writing an episode. We got nothing to worry about. They're brilliant writers. Let's just focus on what we're doing now. And then 3 days before they're going to shoot the next episode, everybody reads the script and goes, whoa, whoa. We can't do this. And it was too late at that point. And so Home got made, and then it aired. And then apparently all the Fox executives said, we'll never rerun this show. We'll never show it again. It's so dark. It is so weird. Inbred brothers, and they just couldn't wrap their head around it. And then that Thanksgiving, they did, hey, vote for your favorite X Files episode. And the number 1 episode was Home. And so we got to rerun it.
Now that episode, just sidetracked. That episode was so far ahead of its time.
So far.
Now you could put it on TikTok.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, you've got that doc that's out there about the inbred family.
Case in point.
I won't say where, but nope. I mean about how they live and everything. It was so far ahead of its time. I remember seeing that and just going,
jaw drop.
Yeah.
And that's the 90s. This is the 90s. And you're like,
yeah,
wow, how? And at that point, production and the crew and everybody, they were trapped because you have to put out a show basically every week. So the shooting schedule was 8 days, 6 days of principal shooting, 8 days of B unit, and then 12 days of a C unit that would work from midnight to 6 a.m. shooting stuff that didn't require David and Jillian. And so everybody worked so hard on this show to make every episode look like a feature film, which is the first time any TV show did that, right? That they
you're right.
Quality. And then this script comes in and everybody's so horrified. And, there were like discussions going, look, is there any other script we could shoot? And there wasn't. And you have to get an episode up next week. So they just went. And I remember an actress auditioned for the mother on the skateboard under the bed. and there's no lines, right? So she just walks into the room and there's, the director and Chris Carter and James and Glenn. And the question is, so how do you see this character? They go, I'm on a skateboard with no limbs under a bed.
Scream. That's all you do. Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh God, what do you think? How do I see that character? Good. Look. And she didn't get the part. So I guess the one who did said something more sensible, but yeah.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. And that, how groundbreaking the X Files was, you kind of forget that when you watch it now, because it's like, oh, hey, yeah, that holds up. But if you look at it in context of what other TV shows were going on in 1994, 95, when that took off, it was literally ahead of its time. It was like
there was nothing out there like
nothing
that. I mean,
out there.
It was like
Carter envisioned what TV looked like in the year 2012, 2015.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Well, you figure back then, what was out there? These, sitcoms and Feel Good and
what was the big series? Earth 2.
Earth 2.
Right. We made fun of Earth 2 on the X Files. Actually, it was supposed to be another planet that they found that everybody goes and colonizes. They leave Earth and try to create Earth 2.
Oh my God!
They're not Dark Shadows. What was the one with Jessica Alba? She's teen angel, teen rebel, teen.
Was that Fantastic Four? No.
No.
It was in Seattle. What the heck was the name?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
she's an
was
underground.
apocalyptic Seattle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
Spielberg
remember.
was co-producer on that, and it was her first role. She was 19 years old or something, but it was a bit. It had a big budget, but it wasn't that great. But they were shooting at the studio right next to us, so yeah, there was that kind of stuff going on, and it's very hard to find a show from the mid '90s that you can watch today that still holds up.
It's
Other,
true.
other
I
than
agree.
X-Files.
And X Files is a cult classic. It is a classic. And it's what's amazing is even when they brought it back, for I always call it the swan song,
Yes, season 11.
just to appease like all the crazy people out there like
Yeah.
myself.
Well,
But you can watch them and you can enjoy it.
you
And
can
that's what I love
enjoy
about it. The same thing with Lone Gunmen. Lone Gunmen was the same. It's the same thing because it's the same genre. It
Yeah.
had the exact same feel of it. Everything out there, it magnified it, and it kind of gave more depth to.
For sure. But I think the writers were really like they felt trapped in how serious the X-Files was. So with the Lone Gunmen, they sort of overwrote the comedy bits. So we were like throwing up and tripping over ourselves and stuff like that. So I think that made some of the fans go, wait a sec. We want more of the serious stuff of the Gunmen, not this comedy, goofy pratfall stuff.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I thought it was great because it was something that complemented.
Yes.
And that's what I got when I'd watch it, I go, okay, I understand what they're trying to do here. And I think the problem with a lot of fans is that they're looking for a replacement of a show.
Of the same experience that they want, right? And I think that's when season 10 and season 11 came up much later. It was trying to really focus on the Mulder-Scully relationship. Right. And I was always a no Romo fella. Hey, everybody out there, no Romo. Two working professionals that respect each other's difference of opinion and they can work together regardless of their gender. They didn't have to fall into a relationship. And apparently I'm only one of 20 fans.
18, not 20, 18. I've counted them.
Yeah,
I've counted them.
I know.
I've taken names. I've taken names at conferences.
Yeah. I know. So the no Romo, as they were called back in the day, were drowned out by the shippers, as they were known, who were into the relationship, Mulder and Scully. Yeah. And that's the movie and the subsequent series, the later series, kind of focused on that. And I was like, that's way away from where I enjoyed the show.
Well, I'm going to tell you what's scary. I've been doing this, as a spiritualist, I've been doing it since like forever. 72 is when I first got my first. I went to Lyceum, went to a spiritualist Sunday school. It's a religion. It's a religion of my father's family. So, I've been seeing a lot of this, and over the years, I have gotten in contact with so many different people: the ufologists, the conspiracy people, paranormal, and I do myself paranormal stuff. I get a chance to hang out with great people. I interview people, like yourself, that really are on the level. Well, I'm sorry, I gave you like too much of a compliment on that one, but I don't want to do that. But what I loved about that show and about the series was the fact that it really brought out some of the insanity that we see. And as someone who's on the inside, sometimes looking out, I see all this and I see the personalities, and people on the outside looking at it would go, do these people really exist? And even like the lone gunman, do they really exist? I know people that are afraid to come out of their basement, and they're surrounded by computers. They know what's going on in everything going on in the entire world. And people don't understand that these portrayals, a lot of times, I think, were based on reality.
Absolutely. And the writer said to me, "Oh, hey, do you want to meet, some of the people we're basing your characters off?"
Really? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And so that allowed me to meet, Dr. Roger Lear, the
Yes.
famed implant removal specialist,
Yes.
Jordan Maxwell, one of the great, he predicted a lot of what's happening now, this
Yep.
turn to fascism, the Nick Pope, a lot of people in London.
You got a chance to meet him? Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Jordan and I
Wow.
would have lunch regularly, Jordan
Wow.
Maxwell and I. And he always said, "Oh, I got stuff that I haven't not yet put to video that is mind-blowing." And I'm like,
Wow.
I have a video camera. I will produce that. And we kept talking about it. And then, projects would take us this way and that and stuff. And in fact, I had a film crew follow me around in 2009. And I went to all these conventions. They were fascinated that I was knowledgeable and friends with all of these people. And we made a documentary called "The Truth Is Out There."
I was going to ask you about this.
Oh, did you see this? Because I have a stack of Blu-rays over here that are still for sale.
Hey,
I don't know even if the website's operational.
We'll have to find out. Because what I wanted to ask you was, I knew that you were very knowledgeable, and actually, having met you and worked with you now on Alone and Scared, which is a great series. I just love it. I absolutely love it. And you know what, you bring such characterizations. You bring in such warmth sometimes. You're deadpan. You know what? I don't know how many times I worked when I was on the last show I did with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm like watching you and I'm going, how is he keeping a straight face? Something comes, all of a sudden, something that was like a little bizarre came out of your mouth and you were so deadpan. And I'm sitting there going,
Well, I'll tell you what about that. So it's a live interactive paranormal investigation. Everybody who watches it is technically as involved in the investigation as we are that you see on camera. And we are all alone in our different cities, much like I am here, just a camera. It's nighttime studio.
Same here.
And weird things start happening in your studio. So you're scared and you're alone, hence the name of the show. And I am terrified doing that show every time I do it.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Well, then I don't want to tell you that when I was doing the last show, I looked up from over the top of my camera and I saw like a shadow person. I have a little L down here. My office is here, and the collection I have with all my asylum pieces and all the haunted stuff on the other side. It's like this.
Yeah.
Just kind of, and it was just, and it goes back. I started laughing because it was like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you, instructing somebody how to do something? And it was kind of amazing. And I think that is what the true allure of that show is. And I love the fact. The other thing is, and we're going to have Courtney Buckley on.
Oh, you are? Oh.
Yeah, I've already booked her.
Person in paranormal investigation.
She is the investigator that's out there. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't like doing things by myself. Mostly because I'm old and I fall down and I can hurt myself.
You get pushed. I heard your preamble.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dean, I'm walking through the park one day. I'm just walking through the attic, and this my friend is over there going, yeah, well, what kind of liquor are you making? My liquor's better than your liquor. I don't care about your bootleg. We're close to the Erie Canal, and they brought Canadian liquor down there.
Oh, yeah.
And it was in an old speakeasy building.
Oh,
and
cool.
I get pushed. Wait a minute. I didn't even do anything. I'm just walking. I was a bystander.
Oh,
and I got pushed down. So, But I mean, I give her a lot of credit for doing that, and
For
I
sure.
I give her so much credit for actually listening to us. And like Patty Negri, the White Witch of Hollywood, I love Patty. Patty's a friend of mine, and I actually taught her how to table tip, which was so great.
That's what she said. Yeah, that's right.
That was so cool, And she's I love her to death. And all I hear from Patty is like this: turn the lights off, Courtney. Courtney, turn the lights off. And I'm thinking to myself, if that was me, I'd be going, screw you, lady. The lights are staying on here.
I know. And Courtney goes, Patty, and then she does it. And it's like, oh. But,
it.
These entities, everybody says, oh, do you believe in ghosts? And I go, I believe in math. And math tells us that there's technically 11 to 13 other dimensions other than the 3 that this meat bag involved in.
I agree.
And perceive, right? But we know mathematically there's multiple dimensions around us right now, but our eyes and our ears and our hands, we can't feel it, but they exist. And so a lot of that expresses electrically on the Scared Alone show. Holy smokes. So you see lights jumping. And I'm pointing this out right now. That effing robot vacuum right there.
I was going to bring that up.
You were?
I was going to bring that up.
I don't know why I don't throw this out. I'm not sure.
No. Hey, if you're going to throw it out, send it to me, because I will be so proud to have that is haunted and was in your house in my collection. I would have to go and I would have to put that in a special case.
So I let the battery run out. So anybody watching right now, the battery is dead on that, but it can be recharged. But I just choose not to recharge it because in the middle of a show, and this thing is timed to go off around 4 p.m. when I'm not here and sort of clean up my studio. This thing started up in the middle of the show, which goes basically from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Eastern time. So around 9:30 p.m., as I'm in the middle of the show, boom, this thing decides to start vacuuming. Then I turn it off. I take the app and I clear all the pre-programmed whatever. And I'm like, I don't want it. And I will come into the studio this morning and that thing will be at a different position somewhere in the studio. And it had started up in the night and had driven and just stopped or died. I don't know. I never checked the battery, but somebody suggested, and I think I'm going to look to you, Tim, on this one, that I should put down a Ouija board in this 300 square foot space and see if that thing is trying to communicate something. Hey. And each day I come and I write down the letter on my whiteboard of what its position is. But
Dean, I would do it.
I
would do it.
And again, I am terrified. I'm terrified of the show. I'm terrified of the show I host. And I'm terrified of what is in that and now is trying to communicate with me. But
Dean, you know what? I mean, I've seen Ouija boards that were basically made out of linoleum.
On floors?
Like on floors. Yeah. Oh. I've actually I know, as a matter of fact, I know somebody in Windber, Pennsylvania that painted a Ouija board on top of their hotel. They own it's called the Grand Midway Hotel, Midland Hotel, a Grand Midway Hotel, and they have a Ouija board that's painted on the roof. So, I mean,
okay.
I think you should do it. I mean, I'm a proponent of it. And you know what? I think we should do live on that. I think we should go and we put a cam on that. We put a cam on that and we watch that.
Watch it try vacuum till it dies on a letter?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That would be the dullest live stream I could imagine.
No, are you kidding me? Hey, we could have a couple. Dean, think of it like this. Get a pizza, a couple beers. Life is good. We can watch anything.
A, it's noisy, and B, it travels 2 feet an hour as it vacuums. I don't know. But I did put down a really cheap plywood floor specifically so I could spill paint on it as I'm,
Mhm.
creating and stuff like that. So it wouldn't be out of the realm just to really put down some letters in the Ouija board. But again,
Listen, it's what it, everybody worries about Ouija boards. Everybody's worried about Ouija boards. I've got like 80, 85 or 86 Ouija boards here.
I know you do.
You know, I
I
mean,
saw that was the one you brought to Michigan, right?
yeah,
Sault Ste. Marie?
yeah, one of the antiques I brought,
Yeah, yeah. It was
and
really fascinating.
it was great. It was great. And I love that. I love the boards. I love the artwork. I'm big into it.
But
But
where do you find them? Like, where are you going to antique stores, or where do you find?
sometimes, it depends. Most of the time, I was interviewed by a local newscaster, and he goes, Tim, do you realize you are a Ouija board orphanage here? Because people just give them to me. People will say, Tim, I don't want this in my house anymore. Boom.
Right.
People will send them to me.
But Parker Games made a Ouija board, right? That's the one I have.
Well, they begin Fold Brothers, or Fold actually, Fold Company in Baltimore, Maryland was the first that made them. And then after he passed away, actually he fell off the building, the factory building, and that's how Elijah Fold died. He died doing that.
What was he doing up there?
Or William Fold, I think it was. But he was up there trying to fix a flag that had gotten tangled, and he fell off his own building, and he died. I can't think of his first name, but yeah, Fold. And then it was picked up, I believe, by Hasbro, and then by Parker Brothers. So
right. And so I have the Parker Brothers one.
Yeah.
But me and my wife took it out once, and nothing really spelled out. But then I got scared. So I am a coward to the paranormal, and yet I'm totally involved in it.
Dean, the best thing in the world. I am at a place called the Hinsdale House in the southern tier of New York State. Okay. It is probably one of the Mount Everests of haunted locations. Back in the 70s, it was crazy. I interviewed the lady who lived there. I've interviewed other witnesses. I've stayed there a couple times overnight by myself. I love that place, So every time I go and I pull out a Ouija board up there, the demon Zozo comes through. It's Z-O-Z-O. And to me, I just laugh, because it's like, I don't believe in demons. Of course, I don't believe in angels. I believe in energy and that sort of stuff. But it comes out. Well, Dean, you can hear everybody's anus puckering around me when Zozo spells out on there. And, as a matter of fact, we did a Ouija board session at the Grand Midway Hotel, and Zozo comes through, and one of my friends goes, "What's Zozo?" And I go, "Oh, that's a Sumerian demon, blah blah blah." He goes, "Where? Here?"
Yeah.
No. But
okay, but I'm gonna say Zozo should really reconsider naming, because that sounds pretty cute. It sounds like a circus clown.
Well,
like Zozo the clown.
It's Zozo, Mama, whatever.
Yeah, not Zozo, the Sumerian evil entity.
Yeah, XOXO, like you're sending love and kisses to somebody. XOXO.
Oh, that kind of Zozo. Oh, not ZOZO.
ZOZO. It depends. It depends on
I
what's
like
coming
XOXO.
through it.
Like,
yeah, it'll change. It changes.
Yeah.
Oh, Andrea Richards was with me. She goes, "That was a good time."
Really? When Zozo showed up?
Listen, it ain't a party until Zozo comes. You know what I mean?
Okay, but so Sumerian text. I mean, we're talking Gilgamesh at this point. So how
they understand English, I don't know. You know what? Basically, it's a parasitical, wants to scare you. The whole thing, it goes into a whole philosophical thing when and basically it wants to scare you or trick you into doing something. And we all know that. I hang out with them. I've hung out with exorcists and done some work in there, and you have to allow something to possess you, and that's basically what it tries to do. It tries to lie to you and lull you into a false sense of security and one of those things.
Yeah. So, okay. So I did a Scared and Alone, and 15 minutes at the end of the show, I I had to apologize that I couldn't host it anymore because something happened energetically to me.
Wow, really?
All of a sudden, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm apologizing. And you know my energy, right?
Yeah.
Outward, fun, hello,
Yeah.
that's just my natural thing. And suddenly it was like all collapsing in, and I couldn't talk, concentrate. I couldn't moderate the show. I had trouble throwing to, Richard Lell Lillard or whatever. And it was like, I'm, the farthest thing from being possessed, but some energy just took me over like that.
Will drain you. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. What happens is it's like a form of trance, and you're kind of in there, out there. All of a sudden, something kind of slides in.
But I'm aware that I'm hosting.
Yeah.
Scared and Alone. So yeah. But I'm fighting this energy that suddenly wrapped over me, and it felt like very much the energy that Courtney Buckley was explaining and running, and it was like, ugh. Is this what possession is? It's a terrible thing.
Well, now I've worked with some voodoo people, and they do the ancestral rituals where they allow the ancestors to enter their bodies. So to me, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, I'm kind of used to seeing it. I recently had an episode up at the Mansfield Reformatory where they filmed Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, right.
And had something similar happen. And and I'm pretty trained in this stuff, so I'm kind of like anal with it, but it still was very forceful, and I ended up giving into it a little bit. So, but there's different boundaries you have to work with, and that's all part of it. That's all part of it. Speaking about women, speaking about Hinsdale, this is Paul Kenyon is here tonight, and Paul is one of the key witnesses to the Hinsdale haunting and the exorcism deliverance that took place in the house. So I'm super honored that you stopped by, Paul. Thank you so much.
I am honored too. Holy smokes.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you, Paul.
Terrifying.
He's a good guy. He's a great guy.
Awesome. Well, I spent the entire pandemic tearing out the bathroom that's in the studio and putting in a steam room so that after every Scared Alone, I just basically burn whatever energy is in a hot steam bath shower. So
wait a minute. So that was your excuse to your wife, right? Why you spent the money on that? Wait a minute. Is that what you're telling me, Dean? That was the excuse? Honey, I would love to hear that conversation. I'd love to hear that conversation. Oh, honey, you know what? Every so often I get possessed, so I really need this steam bath to get all this out of my system, all this evilness out of my pores. I'm trying that. I'm going to try that for a bathroom down here.
But I got to build this steam room. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Oh my God, Dean, you're insane. No wonder we get along so well.
Totally, Tim.
Oh my God. Hey, I had somebody that had a very poignant X Files question that had messaged me before the show.
Okay.
So I know you probably won't know this because you were one of the lone gunmen, but you were like on the edge of knowing what was the conspiracy, what was going on.
Right.
Now we do have the cancer man, the smoking man, right?
Right.
And in one of the episodes, he was sitting there and he was going, this isn't going to happen. And this isn't going to happen. They'd be going, this isn't going to happen. Well, being a Buffalo Bills fan here, he goes, the Bills will not get the Super Bowl. They will not win the Super Bowl. And his assistant goes, they really want it bad. No, they will not get it. So what's the truth? You got a little insight on that, Dean? Got a little insight that it was a conspiracy that they took it away from us.
John Scheiben was the fourth writer of the group, the tight group.
Yeah.
And he was a Buffalo Bills fan, but he was also very frustrated Buffalo Bills fan. And
as we all were.
Yes. And the inability, he thought, oh my gosh. And he had heard from other fans, they all commiserate how come we never win? And yeah, he I think he put that in. But does this bring us back to Taylor Swift and the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl as a
it is. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing, right?
It's the same thing, Dean.
Yeah. No, the football is, it's a very tough sport. Requires skill on many levels, and there's lots of variables that can't be controlled by a simple collusion of conspiracy. So, all football conspiracy, I'm hereby declaring completely inaccurate.
You heard it now, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it from Ringo. You heard it from the OG of the lone gunman. He is the OG of the lone gun. I'm telling you, I'm going to say it again. He's effervescent. He's iridescent. You know what? When you're around him, you got to wear shades because he just glows. He just glows. That's the way it works.
Oh my gosh! Why am I not recording these things here?
Because they're free. If you had to pay for them, that's the way it works. That's just the way it works. You know what? I have to ask you, you're so prolific at all these characters. You really are. And
thank you.
I'm amazed. I simply am amazed because you make every character that you're part of the script so believable. I mean, that's amazing. That's an art form. First of all, I'm the world's worst liar. My face conveys everything. I can't make anything up. When it comes to like doing anything of that nature, I can't do it. What's your process, man? I'm like, I have to ask that because that's my question to you. What's that process like?
So funny you should ask, because I'm also terrible at poker, and I have no poker face. Wow. And I'm a terrible liar. And it is about finding the truthfulness in that character. And I'm bringing this back to Langley and the Lone Gunmen because if you, what I experienced was so many people came up to me, particularly in the first 5 or 6 years, going, wow, you played a computer nerd that didn't have a white tape, broken glasses, and a pocket protector with pens and, nerdy bucktooth with a shirt down up to here. And I went to university in Vancouver, and everybody in computer science and physics and all of that were these way advanced. They were into Skid Row. My ex-girlfriend married a guy who actually designed a computer system that could balance a soundboard just by one guitarist playing in a stadium.
Wow.
With microphones placed in different seating. And,
amazing.
And that to me was a computer nerd. That guy, those guys, those advanced physicists, they all had crazy hair. They're all iconoclastic, right? And so none of them had a pocket protector. None of them were like shy, and they were into what they were into in a big way and didn't give a crap about whatever. And so my basis for creating those characters is based on a plethora of people that I've met in that kind of thing. And because I have traveled widely and lived over, 4 different countries over the years, the experiences that I have sort of alter the way I interpret characters, which
amazing,
maybe
amazing.
Explains why I'm not cast in a lot of stuff that I've auditioned for, because my interpretation may be outside what the producers are like. Oh no, we're looking for a guy with tape and a pocket protector. But thankfully, all those people on the X Files knew that they didn't know what they wanted. The audition process was so weird for the X Files.
I was just going to ask you about that. And before you go on, Courtney's in the room.
Yeah, hey, yay, Dean. Hi, Courtney.
Good to see you. We were just talking about you. He was saying nasty stuff about you. Don't. I defended you. Dean doesn't really like you, he said.
No, what the heck?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
Terrible
kidding.
thing to say, Tim.
Courtney, I can't wait for you to come on. You're going to be on the show pretty soon, so I can't wait for you
The
to come
bravest
back
person
on.
in paranormal, ladies and gentlemen. Courtney
There she is,
Buckley.
first lady. And you know what? She's as effervescent and iridescent as you. That's the way it works.
Oh, well, she has 10 steps of bravery over me. Let me.
Yeah,
tell you.
she has them over me too. But
Yeah.
what was that audition like? Because I mean, I know what some of the indie things that I've done, some of the network things that I've done. I know what some of the basic auditions, and I know how basically when I'm they cast me, I kind of know what they're looking for.
Right.
So
But it's also weird don't you think it's weird when you go into a casting room and you see 8 to 10 people that kind of look like you? Like, oh, we want like a bald guy who's like really cool with glasses, who's like into paranormal with a beard. And
Yep.
then you walk into the room and there's like 8 guys who are bald who have a beard and glasses, and they all look like they're into paranormal. And you're like, oh my God, everybody kind of looks like me. Like, I had that because I had the long blonde hair. Every time I would audition for a drug dealer or some ne'er-do-well, I would see the same 8 Vancouver actors, and we'd all have our long hair and our leather jackets. And, it's like, oh, hey, man, hey, did you get that thing? Yeah, I got that. Oh, hey, who got the oil thing? Oh, yeah, hey, man. And we're all like friends, right? Get to the X Files audition. I don't see anybody. I don't see any of those guys.
Really?
I see guys in fatigues. I see guys in suits. I see guys in leather jackets. There's actors I've never seen before, and we're all in the room reading for the lone gunman. And I'm like, what? It was like the first time. It was like I'm not prepared for it, and I go in, and it's the first episode, first season. I think it's episode 13. It's called EBE. And half of it, I'm on the phone. So the other 2 characters are read by the casting directors. And so I'm thinking, this is the dumbest audition because I'm just faking that I'm on an old-timey phone. Like I'm doing this, literally doing this with my hand, listening to a call that's supposed to be from Mulder while everyone, or, whatever. And so I do that and I walk out and I go, I don't think they know what they're looking for. And sure enough, they don't, because I get called back 5 more times.
Wow.
And I read with other comedians, including my best friend who was Walter Harriman in Stargate, Gary Jones.
Mm-hmm.
He read for Byers, and we did a thing together where we were hilarious. And we started improvising because we also performed together with Colin Mockery and Ryan Stiles for 10 years. So of course we go off on tangents, and they're like, yeah, we don't want that. And I'm reading with like serious people and stuff like that. And then apparently the director goes, okay, but for Frohickey, we need somebody short and weaselly like the first AD, Tom Braidwood. And they're like, oh, he's got acting training. He goes, well, it's just a couple lines. Why don't we just have the first AD play that guy, and then we'll hire Bruce Hardwood, who's a little more staid, and that will balance from Dean's more eclectic computer guy,
Mm-hmm.
and that sort of will balance out the trio sort of thing. And so when I get to set, I've never met the other 2 guys, and we just all clicked together so quickly. It was like, oh, hey, this is really fun. Thinking it was only the 1 episode, like it was a day player, like I did Street Justice and stuff like that.
Right.
And then my agent calls me going a couple episodes later going, oh yeah, they want you back. Want me back to do what?
Wow.
The same character. There's another episode with you guys in it. Like, oh,
wow.
Oh, okay. And then it just, phone calls started coming in. And then so much so that if you look at the first, I think 3 seasons of the X-Files, the glasses that my character wear is different every time, because the props guy had a Ziploc bag full of black glasses, and I would just pull one out and put it on and then throw it back in after I was done. And then he finally said like a year and a half or 2 years into it, he goes, hey, why don't you pick one? And then we set that aside because I never know the one that you've pulled out of the bag. And I go, I don't know either.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's what we do. Okay. So now we're going to be recurring characters because it was never that originally. It was going to be just, oh, it's a one-off, you know, and then writers realized that you could use the lone gunman as a way to shorten if you have like 55 pages of script and you need it to cut down to 43 because it's a minute per page. So it has to be a 43-page script.
Right.
You can get the lone gunman to like, oh, hey, Mulder, I just got you into this security facility and, you know, and oh, we just did magic on the computer. and so they could cut out a ton of stuff and we could do lots of exposition from our room and stuff like that. So it started working out great for the writers as a way to shorten scripts and then a great way just to spark up the show.
That's awesome.
It was so awesome. It was unbelievable.
That's great. That's great. Listen, I don't want to keep you all night long, although I could because
I know we haven't even started talking about Toledo.
We haven't talked about hardly anything. Well, it's all about you. It's all about you, Dean. It's all about you. You are like the superstar. I actually do have a picture of you up on my wall. I really do actually, and it's a picture of Patty and I, and you're behind us waving. It's great. I love it. It's my favorite.
When we did the at Paranormal Con,
right. Yeah, that's my favorite photo. You know that, and the fact that we had a professional photographer actually take a picture of the two of us. Yeah. But I love the other one. That's my all-time favorite. It's my all-time favorite.
Thank you. Well, Tim, it's been great being on the show. I loved it so much.
You know what? I'm telling you, I told people, there's two people. I'm going to be honest with you. My wife will even tell you. My wife will swear to this. There's two people that I'm a fanboy over. You're one because I appreciate the fact that you are a working actor. You're so multifaceted. You keep busy. You're always doing so much stuff. That to me is so impressive because as someone who believes that, you know, you just don't do one thing. Right. You push yourself and you learn stuff and you continue to grow and evolve. And, you know, you never know where the journey is going to take you. And that to me is, oh my God, that's that to me. And I'll tell you, do you know who my other one is? Ooh. And I actually met him once. Oh. The Amazing Kreskin.
I love the Amazing Kreskin.
Isn't he great?
Oh my gosh. Did you see the episode where he did the voodoo thing?
Yes.
Oh my God, that was amazing. Because some of it was like, oh, you know, you think of a number from 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Some of it was like, you know, I see cheesy magicians doing it on cruise boats and stuff like that.
Yep.
But the voodoo one, and there was one other episode, and this, I don't know how many people, it was a Canadian show, wasn't it? Yes. Or was he American?
I know he was. I know he had a show in Canada for a number of years.
Amazing Kreskin was a weekly evening show. They were all in lounge chairs.
Yeah.
He would open with a quick mind thing, like, oh, you're thinking of the number set. What, you know, I'm hearing the letter F. Who's your relative with the letter whatever? But then he would have a showstopper. It would be about 20 minutes long, setting it all up, bringing people from the audience, involving stuff. And man, that guy was great. And where the heck would you meet the Amazing Kreskin?
He came to an opera house, a little opera house here in Lancaster, New York.
Come on.
One show. And I was working at the time and I saw it in the paper. That's how long ago it was. It was in the paper. And I had to go. I had to go because he was someone I remember coming home from school and seeing him like a Mike Douglas or Merv Griffin, you know, one of those
talk shows. Yeah.
Oh my God. And he's in his 80s. He still jogs. I don't know how many miles a day.
What? Wow.
Yeah. And the show he put on, Dean, was so energetic. He was like out there and just unbelievable. And I don't know how long I stood in line to meet him. And he came out finally, sat down at his table. And you want to talk about the total fanboy where the voice goes up? You know?
Hello, Mr. Kreskin.
It's sort of like when I first met you. Oh my God, it's Dean. Oh my God. You know, that's what,
Oh my God.
I'm verklempt. Oh my God. And he was the nicest person in the world. I mean, he was like, I got my photo taken with him. He took extra time with me. What a gracious gentleman he was. Nicest person out there. And the chance to meet someone like that was amazing. So
wow, Tim, you just ended the show on a bummer for me because I just regret never meeting Kreskin.
well,
Damn you.
what do you think? You're the first one to tell me that?
Right?
Listen. I've been at this rodeo a few times.
I hear that.
Dean, tell us first of all what's coming up, but also, Dean, tell us how people can get a hold of you, what's going on in the fantastic world of Dean Haglund, the man, the myth, the legend. He is just an amazing person. He is just, you know what? He is OG. He's just OG. You know what? Talking with you is just like going up to Boris Karloff's grave and talking to him. That's the way I'm going to say it.
Wow. Okay,
you're up there, baby. Well, you're up there. You're up there. So how can they do that?
So, well, this Friday, join us Eastern time, 9 to 11, Scared and Alone. We live stream YouTube. It is a interactive paranormal investigation where anybody who logs in is also part of the investigation. We have, I think the producers have about 4 to 6 more places lined up. Courtney can back me up on that. And then if you're loving the podcast world, every Monday, wherever you get your fine podcasts, we are doing a podcast for the free for the last 17 years called Chilpak Hollywood Hour. Chilpak spelled Chillpak. A long story behind that we don't have time for.
We didn't even get that far yet.
Yeah. If you are in the Detroit area, I do stand-up and improv at Go Comedy sometimes, and then a couple other clubs in the neighborhood. And then my Instagram has some of my artwork, but I haven't loaded anything up in such a long time. As you see, my studio's a mess. And that scares the crap out of me. Anybody wants to buy that? Hey, how about that, Tim?
I'll take it.
You're taking that?
Listen. Get to the lawyer tomorrow. It's in the will. I want it.
I'm sorry. Ethically, I don't think I could give away a haunted robot vacuum. It's just too. I will be forever mortified that it will run over your Ouija boards and spell something out terrible. I don't want to know. So
you haven't lived until you've been F-bombed by a Ouija board. I'm just telling you that right
now. You know what? Damn it. I'm going to pull out my old Parker Brothers Ouija board and try to get F-bombed. That sounds really fun.
It's not hard. It really isn't hard.
Wow. I didn't know that many entities had it against me. Well,
you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Tim.
Thank you. Dean, I want to thank you so much for being a guest on the show. This is a high. Seriously, this is a high for me. Being a chance to work, having a chance to have worked with you live, and I'll be there Friday. I'll see you Friday.
You're coming on.
I'm on the show Friday, so I'm doing a fill-in
with Courtney,
and I can't wait. And it's going to be great. And Courtney's going to be coming on the show, and everybody out there, listen. I'm just going to go and just say, Dean, you're the king. You know what? They always say Elvis is the king. Got news for you. You're a king without a funky belt. That's the way it is. That's just the way it is.
Buy a funky belt now. Now you said that.
I think I got one. I got something here. Well, I think I can hook. Dude, I can probably hook you up. Okay, buddy. We'll just stay on the line for a couple seconds until I say goodbye to everybody. And again, you're just, you know what, just amazing. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here. I appreciate it. Just hold on a second there. Hold on. If the rumba starts moving, call me back. I'm there.
Effing thing.
I love it. I love it. I want it. I want it. It's going in the collection. I want it. It would have its own display case. I'm telling you right now.
Gosh, terrifying.
I'll be back in just a couple seconds.
Okay.
Guys, wasn't he great? I mean, I absolutely love him. He's, you know what? It was just so wonderful to get into his brain and talk to him. It's a little scary to get into his brain, but like the most of us, I mean, he's a true gentleman and he is a true artist. He's a true actor. He really is. I love every second of it, and I am so glad that he took the time to be a part of this show. Anyway, guys, you know what? You know how I am. I'm pushing you guys. I shouldn't say I'm pushing you guys. I'm pushing myself to show up, be accountable for myself. And that's one of the main tenets of spiritualism. Be responsible. Be responsible for yourself. Be responsible for your health. Be responsible. Because you know what, guys? I want each and every one of you to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. And you know what? I can't wait to see you guys soon. So, guys, guess we'll see you next week. Where else? Here at the Black Cat Lounge. Why? Because it's where the elite meet, next to the dumpster transfer station. Guys, take care. Ciao, babies. Be good. And remember, if you see me walking down the street, is it really me?